What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Black, your internet relationship and breakup coach. Today's topic: ask your ex for the world and give them nothing in return, and they will want you more. Now, I know if you're watching this video, you might be struggling with the concept of even seeing your ex in a position where they want you. That probably sounds impossible. And maybe you're struggling because you're still in love with them, you still care a lot, and your number one priority is to fix things. You want to close the gap. See, breakups a lot of times can be extremely painful, not just because of the loss of a relationship. Most times it's unexpected, and usually because you're hurt, you might react in a way that may come off as desperate and needy, and so instantly your ex might become cold. So you start seeing characteristics in this person that you don't recognize. It's almost like you're dealing with a complete stranger because they seem to have no compassion for you, no love for you, and maybe they moved on quickly and they're dating someone else or entertaining other people. And so I understand and I can sympathize with that emotion of this is hopeless. There's nothing left in the tank. And in this video, I want to share with you how that dynamic can turn, or what makes it change. How can you go from hopeless, your ex being cold, disrespectful, rude, maybe completely ignoring you or ghosting you, to where they are doing things for you, they are chasing and pursuing you. So that's what we're going to cover in this video, and I promise you will get a ton of value in this. So just sit back, pay attention, and please apply this. I will say that's the most difficult thing when I'm coaching people. You know, there's a lot of people that just watch the videos for comfort, and I understand that. I totally get it. But I want you to apply this. And if you can, you will see that it works for you. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. Now, first and foremost, I need you to understand that fundamentally, relationships are a platform for exchanging value. Okay? Every relationship on this planet Earth is a platform for exchange. So even your close personal friendships, right? There's an exchange. Maybe you enjoy each other's company. One person has a great sense of humor and the other person's super caring, right? It's not easily cut and dry, but trust me, the only thing that makes people stay is because they're getting something in return for their effort, their time, whatever they're investing into you. And these are all relationships. Professional relationships, the same thing. You go to your job, you go to a company, and you do them a service. You know, depending on the role that you do, if you're a cashier, you ring people up and you get a paycheck. There's an exchange of value. Now, in a romantic relationship, the same thing is occurring. Each party is bringing different things to the table to support the growth of the relationship and to support the other person, you know, to make them happy. Sometimes you're their best friend, you're their confidant, right? There's a mutual physical attraction to each other. And maybe you like the way they think, they like your jokes, the banter, right? There's a mutual exchange. Now, the difference between personal relationships versus professional, right? In professional, there's the exchange of value is usually with monetary goods, right? Cash, gold, silver, whatever the case may be, right? And those relationship comes off as more transactional, right? It's very overt. It's very clear what's being exchanged. In romantic relationships, however, because the exchange is going on beneath the surface, right? If you were having an intimate moment with your partner, and after the experience was over, they're like, hey, there's $200 on the dresser, right? Most people would be offended. Right, so the exchange, and this is why a lot of people don't notice this, the exchange is going on below the surface. And so sometimes it causes people to be in denial, and you don't recognize that there is definitely something that each party is exchanging and bringing to the table. Now, what happens during a breakup is that the person who left typically feels that they're not getting enough bang for their investment. They feel that whatever they are pouring into you is more valuable than what they're getting in return. Now, this can be tricky because you might be thinking, well, I did everything for them. If anything, looking back, I put in more effort. I called more, I texted, I spent money on them. I gave them things, I'm more successful, all of these things. But when it comes to relationships, you have to understand it's not about the actual tangible things you exchange per se. It's tricky, like I said, it's going on below the surface. It's intangible, it's about perceived value. And the reason why the dumper tends to feel like whatever they're bringing to the table is of greater value, actually, it's because you're doing too much for them. Remember, like I said, each person is bringing something to the table and everyone is happy. So when a relationship starts to become more and more one-sided, when you have become the one that's always pouring into them, giving this and breaking your back, just trying to make them happy, well, they start to feel, right, like they are more attractive. They are more valuable than you, which is why you have to overcompensate. Because it's not cash that is being exchanged, it's just a feeling, right? This is when someone starts to say, oh, I'm not sure what's going on. I just don't feel that spark. I just feel like we disconnected. And then you start doing more and more to validate them, to make them feel loved. But because they're doing nothing or close to nothing, and you're doing all of these things just to keep them in their mind, well, I must be so amazing. I must be so attractive. I must be so much more better than them, if that makes sense, that I need to go find someone else because I can do better than them. If I was with an equal partner, they wouldn't need to overcompensate like this, right? If I was disrespecting them, they would walk away because they have options, right? So making your ex feel during the relationship like your life would be totally over and devastated without them. These are the things that actually further makes them feel sure that they can do better. Okay. So how do you make your ex do more for you? Right? Because essentially once the breakup happens, the value exchange needs to stop, by the way. And a lot of times this is where people constantly make mistakes. Now, not only is your ex not putting, like during the relationship, maybe they were doing a little bit. Now they're basically doing nothing. And you're buying them gifts and flowers and calling them all the time, right? So now not only are you exchanging the intangible with your time and energy, you're also trying to buy their love. This is why I say you shouldn't be buying gifts, birthday, all of these things. Once the relationship is over, the exchange of value needs to stop. You need to be in no contact because this is the beginning of allowing them to see what they lost. They will never see what they lost. They will never feel what they lost if they are still getting a constant supply of value from you, especially when they don't have to exchange anything for it. So the way you get to ask your ex for the world is essentially understanding another core fundamental of human nature. The biggest reason why anyone does anything, the reason why you're watching this video right now, the reason why you go into work, the reason why anyone does anything is because they have a strong desire to do so. They want it. I was reading a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This was years ago, but I still remember a quote from that book. And it said something like, the easiest way to make someone do something is to awaken a strong internal desire in them. They have to want what you're selling. Okay? Now, let me be clear. While the breakup is not about your ex, I'm not saying that you put them on a totem pole, but you need to understand making unsolicited calls and texts and begging, that is all about your desire for them. And this is why they keep running. This is why they keep ignoring you. This is why they keep ghosting you. Because nothing they're doing currently is showing that they have any desire to reconcile. It's showing that they have any desire to want to be around you. So no contact helps you awaken that desire. How? Because one, like I said, you're exchanging value. Now, once the value exchange stops, you're no longer communicating with them. You're no longer doing favors, right? You're no longer doing all of the intangible things that you did for them. Well, now they notice because those things are absent from their life. It's evident. If you were the type of partner that would say, hey, thought about you today, hope you're having an amazing day. If you were the type of partner that would say, hey, thought about you, I ran to Starbucks and you dropped them off food at their job. All of these things need to be missing, right? And not just for one day, not just for 1 week, several weeks. They must see a level of commitment that if they don't reach out to you, this is what they need to start thinking. If they don't reach out to you, they will never hear from you as long as they live. And the reason why no contact is very effective, while your absence might mean nothing to a complete stranger, like let's say me and you met each other, or you met a random person at the grocery store, you shook their hand, oh, good to meet you. You went your separate ways. If they never heard from you again, they would be fine, probably, okay? But for the most part, because you were so involved in your ex's life, because you did so many things for them, because you shared memories, exchanged dreams, right? There's things you know about your ex that maybe no one else does. You shared your traumas, the difficult things you went through in childhood. So obviously it's hurtful for you, but trust me, with enough time, your ex feels the same pain. The difference is you hurt first, and most times they hurt later if you allow them to lose you. So it's that loss that awakens the internal desire in your ex, nothing else. No amount of begging. That's why I tell people all the time, and sometimes you have to experience for yourself and see that it doesn't work. No amount of begging and chasing will bring your ex back because, again, that is about your desire for them. You have to understand, unless they want the relationship back to start, they will not feel any pain. They will not reach out. And the more you reach out, the more they run. Okay. So once that internal desire is awakened, most times, what do you do when you desire something? If you are extremely hungry, you start to feel those hunger pains, more than likely you're going to get up, start foraging like a caveman, looking in the fridge and the pantry, trying to find something to satiate that hunger. Well, the same thing happens to your ex. When they start to feel that internal desire, their first instinct is to do something to resolve that urge, right? Maybe they start watching your stories, breadcrumbing, all these little things, right? But they will make an attempt to get closer. And this is how you know you're moving in the right direction. If they are doing things to connect with you without you initiating. They are the ones initiating first. Now you might say, oh, my ex is an avoidant. My ex is different. I have been doing this for so long, and I've talked to thousands of people. And it's always interesting how, anytime I get someone say, oh, my ex is an avoidant, when we do the things that we talk about when it comes to no contact, and you mean it, most times they will reach out, whether they are avoidant or not, because it's a primal urge, right? The same way you have a hunger pain. Now, some people may be more tolerant, but at the end of the day, you need food to survive. Now you may say, well, my ex is just gonna connect with someone else. Or most times, okay, not only does it take time for people to truly fall in love, so if you eject and go into no contact quickly, right, their focus, a lot of their emotions is still invested in you, even though they're not showing it currently. The mistake is constantly being around, constantly bothering them, not giving them any space. And secondly, rebound relationships always tend to fizzle out because the whole allure of a rebound relationship is kind of the sparkle, right? It's kind of the newness of it. If you were with your ex for any significant amount of time and they break up with you and you leave, eventually they will start to compare. They will start to compare you to this new person. And I can tell you, true love is hard to find. True love is hard to replace. The biggest mistake you make is continuing to stick around. Okay, so they have that urge, they reach out to you, and now you're showing a lack of interest. And this is why. So this brings back the whole point of the title. And let me just say this. If you're still watching, please do me a favor, hit the like button. All right, and let me know what you think right now in the comments. Leave a comment and we'll bring this whole video back together. But hit the like button for me, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos that I put out. I really appreciate you for doing so. Okay, now let's bring it home. So the reason why you get to ask your ex for the world is because they are the ones pursuing you. Okay, whoever is needing the other person's time, whoever is needing the other person's attention or closeness, that's the person who has to do more work. And this is important when it comes to breakup dynamics because, like I was describing earlier, at the end of the relationship, your ex's investment level was lower than yours, for sure, most times. So they were investing like lower here, and you're investing the world into them. And so to fix a relationship, that dynamic has to reverse. And this is why I say you ask for the world. Obviously, when you're back in a relationship and you love each other, then the dynamic will shift. All right, it'll get back to almost even. But during a breakup, you have to hold steady and you have to understand you will not fix the relationship in one conversation. So a lot of times you'll get that first text and you try to jump the gun. You want to rush things. You want to profess your love. You want to get back together. But showing that lack of interest or just, lack of investment in them, it triggers them to do more. They start to question. Have they lost you? Will they lose you permanently because of this? All right? And they start doing more. And the other thing that happens, like I was explaining earlier, there's a subconscious understanding that the more you're investing into something or someone, the more important you deem that thing to be. This is also why there's a theory called sunk cost fallacy, right? But basically what sunk cost fallacy is most people will hold on to things even if it's not serving them, if they've been invested in a lot into that thing. Now, hopefully, you're a good partner, you're a good person for your ex to reconnect with, but the point still remains the same. The more you get your ex to invest in you because you're showing a lack of interest, you're not pursuing them, and they just subtly start texting you more, calling you more. The more important they deem you to be, and the more they cling to the idea of fixing the relationship. This is why you should never be rushing things. You should always be behind your ex when it comes to feelings and reconciling. Anyway, if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, please drop them down in the comment section below. If you want to talk to me about your personal situation, hit the link in the description and you can book a coaching call. I don't have a ton of calls left for the month, but look on the calendar. There's probably still a couple of spots left. I appreciate you all so much for watching. And I know that you're going through a lot. And let me just say, you will get through this. Seriously. I've seen a ton of people able to stick with this and attract their ex back. But you have to be committed. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.